Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to TìandTarot, or welcome back to TìandTarot if you've been here before. So today's reading is all about a cord that hasn't been cut yet from your life, and it's attached to you and a mystery. And that mystery we're going to explore in today's reading. We're going to find out what it is you're still connected to. And then we're also going to see how this sort of uncut cord is creating major events in your life. This could be good, this could be bad, and then we're going to explore how do you cut or keep that cord depending on the results of the reading. And then also we're going to be asking any 3 yes or no questions about this reading at the end so that you can make it a little bit more personalized to you and ask anything you're wondering. And if there are any answers you get that you don't like, just take what resonates, ignore the stuff you don't want, and keep the stuff you do. So let's get into today's reading. So we have 4 piles for you today, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can pick your pile in several different ways. The first way is by going with the pile you feel most intuitively drawn to based on the energy of the pile. So I'll leave some zodiac signs in the description box below for you to maybe pick your pile based on your zodiac sign or a zodiac sign that you resonate with. You can also pick your pile based on the number of the pile or the numbers in the timestamps below. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or you can pick based on the crystal of your pile. So today's crystals: for pile 1 we have some citrine. For pile 2 we have the beautiful pink cat's eye. For pile 3 we have some lovely snow agate. And for pile 4 we have some snakeskin agate. Okay, so once you have picked your pile, there will be a timestamp in the description box below for you to find your reading more easily, and I will meet you there. Bye. Okay, hello my lovely pile 1. So you chose the citrine, so money related crystal right there. And these are your cards. We're going to leave that for now. And we're going to get into what this thing is that you're attached to, what this mystery thing is. So we have the Ace of Wands here. Okay, so that's interesting. This could be quite a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you take it, but I think you're still attached to essentially a way of expressing yourself, namely expressing your creativity, your ideas, things like that, and how you sort of take action with those things. So once you get an idea, it sits with you and it doesn't necessarily make it out into the real world. So it could be like you're a musician and you have loads of song ideas, but then you don't write them. Or you do write them and you've got like a bundle of songs, but you're not doing anything with them. You're not recording them. You're not trying to give them to people or get them out there and get them sung and heard and listened to, because that's the whole point of a song. You're not doing that. You're just kind of hoarding all of them. So even though you get really good inspiration for things that you're interested in, things you're passionate about, things that you're really creative with, even though you get really good inspiration, where it goes is potentially nowhere based on your actions, or rather your inaction. So the thing that you're kind of tied to is twofold. And one, it's your endless, limitless access to inspiration, to ideas, to creativity, to all this newness kind of coming in, new opportunities, but also potentially your lack of consistency as well to take it that next step further. So it's kind of twofold here for you, which is interesting. So let's see what it's doing in your life. We have dogs getting together with friends. Okay, dogs are symbols of loyalty and friendship, but also of taking orders and being quite obedient. So I'm seeing a few things here. One, this cord, especially from the aspect of you getting endless inspiration, is connecting you to really good opportunities, because if you were to pursue these inspirations and maybe, sung one of your songs, this is just an example guys, but take it, and apply it to the inspirations that you have in your life. But let's say you took that song and you said, okay, I'm going to act. You're going to do something with it. And you went to your local pub and you sung your original song there. It would then open up this opportunity where people are coming up to you afterwards and saying how much they liked that song and you should do something with it. And then you start talking to people. So it creates this sense of community, which is really lovely. It's a endless ability and possibility to connect with others through this inspiration you have, through this passion that you have, which is so lovely. On the flip side of that, the inactivity part, because dogs are so good at taking orders and being obedient, you're limiting your possibilities in terms of who makes the decisions in your life, who is the boss, who orders you around. That could be, at the moment, because you're not acting on these passions. That could be family members, because maybe you still like live with them. That could be an actual boss at a job, rather than maybe you yourself as your own boss. If you were to pursue this and take it somewhere and really be committed to it, be really loyal to it and be consistent, then it could maybe get you somewhere where you're the one calling the shots. But at the minute, it's kind of that inactivity makes you obedient to other people and other situations, which pulls you further and further away from the passion and the inspiration that you have in life. So there's like two folds again here to this, which I think is also why we've got two heads on the dog. There's this one side that wants to chase its passions and hobbies, and it's got its tongue out and it's ready for life. And there's one that's very obedient and looks quite serious, but also like a little bit bogged down. But then this other dog is ready to experience things. It's like two sides of you because of this uncut cord here. So for that reason, we're going to ask how you can keep the cord from the inspiration aspect, but cut it from the inactivity aspect. Okay, how can pile 1 cut this cord? Okay, we have the 2 of Cups in reverse. And how can pile 1 keep this cord? Queen of Cups in reverse, along with King of Cups in reverse. With the how to cut this cord aspect, there's a few elements. So one, I think, harmony with yourself and priority of yourself. So if you felt like you were the biggest priority in your life, you would abandon all these other sort of like avenues that are distracting you from your passions immediately, in a heartbeat, without a second thought. But you're not actually your priority at the moment. Especially when it comes to your passions, your desires, you might dismiss them as like frivolous or not worth investing in, which is not the case at all. And so once you reharmonize with yourself, that's how you're going to cut that cord of that lack of action, because finally you'll take action towards what you believe matters, and at the minute you don't believe these things matter that much. The second thing is that, of course, the 2 of Cups is like a love card. So in reverse, it can be about breakups. So it's almost like something else in your life needs to fall out of harmony first. And when that happens, it's kind of like this switch moment where you're like, fuck it, let me invest in myself. Let me do the things I actually care about now that I have more free time on my hands because this thing is over. And when I say breakup, I don't mean like a relationship one. I'm viewing breakup as a split from something. Just anything. It could be a split from the way you've been living your life, where you finally reached that point where you don't want to do it like this anymore. It could be a split in terms of you've realised you've been investing a lot of your efforts into something that isn't fruitful and that hasn't returned the same to you. So you're kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm not putting my energy towards that anymore. I'm going to put my energy towards what it is I care about. So it's kind of twofold there of you finally putting yourself first and also kind of letting go of some sort of secondary aspect to your life that at the minute is kind of taking over, but doesn't need to really be in your life, and you wouldn't miss it if it was gone, and you would kind of do better without it. It's almost holding you back. What is that thing? The thing is the Ace of Swords in reverse. So it's definitely a state of mind. It's definitely like clouded judgment, clouded thinking, maybe even rethinking, overthinking. So it could be like you spend a lot of time going, would that be a good song? Would it be a bad song? How would people like it? I shouldn't get up on stage and sing it. Again, I'm back to this example, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And it's like all that time you spend ruminating is just time wasted, where you could have just, rather than questioned how people were receptive to it, gone out there and seen for yourself how they're receptive to it. And also it's not just about those things, it's also how you'll feel when you've done it. You'll feel so accomplished, you'll feel so good, you'll feel like kind of like on cloud 9 where you're like ecstatic and you've got all this energy and you can't believe you didn't do this sooner. So it's almost like the thing you need to let go of that's taking up a lot of your time is this overthinking, or clouded thinking as well, where you kind of think this isn't worth investing in. So it's a shift of your mindset and your priorities. Now, the part to keep the cord. So this is to keep your passions, keep your inspiration, keep it all going. So I love that you've got like the Cups cards, which are about emotions, because this is going to be related more so to how you're feeling. And how you're feeling is really going to keep in that inspiration and those passions and those ideas, keep them flowing, keep your cups full. Because that Queen of Cups in reverse is about self-love once again, so we're getting that messaging again. And also codependency. There's something here to be said about, of course, you need to start prioritizing yourself, as we've kind of been over, because that will mean you'll put your passions and hobbies and inspirations first in life. But also looking at areas in your life where you're codependent, where you're kind of being obedient to situations where maybe you don't need to be, and trying to shift that emotional perception where you're emotionally tied to this other thing and reinvest your emotions in you. There might be something in your life where you feel like you need it, and that could be pulling you away from your inspirations, your passions. It might be draining on your passions. In order to keep this cord, you have to reevaluate what that is in your life, what it is you're codependent on. Try and be a little bit more independent and try and be a little bit more self-centered, but not in a like, you don't care about anybody or anything, but just a you're finally caring about yourself kind of way and putting yourself first. The other thing is kind of fake it till you make it, like with the King of Cups in reverse. So there's an air of manipulation with the King of Cups in the same way that the Magician card has ties to manipulation. So like creating an illusion of success, even if you're not there yet. So the best way to hold on to your inspirations and your passions is put yourself in the mindset that you are where you need to be in order to receive these things. Because a part of the thing holding you back might be like imposter syndrome, so you kind of need to fake it till you make it to yourself in order to stay connected to it. So for example, I always wanted to help other authors publish their books. I always wanted to work in a publishing house, and when I had loads and loads of jobs over the years that are not related to writing at all, I kind of started to feel more pulled away from this passion, because I was like, maybe I'm not the right fit, maybe I'm never going to get in there. And it then makes you feel silly or like invalid for like, you know, spending the afternoon writing a book that may or may not ever get published because you don't fit in there, or you don't have industry insights or a foot in the door kind of thing. So it kind of eventually over time made me feel like a little bit of an imposter every time I would write a little bit of my book. And then I got to a point where I was just like fed up of investing all my time into these jobs that were not related to what I wanted, because I had slipped into a mindset of this is all I can get, so I'll just keep going after these jobs. And then I was like, hang on a minute, this isn't all I can get. Let me start putting effort towards the jobs I do actually want. Applied to one and got it within the week, and I was like, fab, I'm in. And then from there it's just snowballed, where every job since has been closer and closer to getting me towards where I need to be. But the point is, I had to completely shift what I was investing my efforts into, what I felt obedient towards, which was this life that didn't fit me and didn't feel like me. I had that sense of imposter syndrome when it came to my passions and my hobbies and my interests. And then I had that kind of mindset shift where I completely thought, you know what, I do deserve that thing, and I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to try to fake it till I make it, basically. And that's exactly how I got there. And now I no longer have that imposter syndrome feeling, and all my inspiration just floods in all the time, every day, with so many ideas. So it's kind of about that. And that's kind of the example that kind of popped into my head. So take it as it resonates, but that's the vibe of that King of Cups in reverse, is a little bit of that manipulation in terms of creating an illusion to yourself of where you should be, even if you can't see it yet. It's almost like creating the vision before your life actually looks like that you're there and you're deserving, and to not feel like an imposter, or that these things are things you're supposed to just outgrow over time, that you're supposed to let go of your passions and hobbies and, you know, fall into the 9 to 5. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. So that's kind of the vibes that I'm getting there for you. So let's now ask any 3 yes or no questions. Have your questions ready. Have that question ready. And then we're gonna get the answer for you now. Only take what resonates. And yeah, here we go. So we have no go away for your first question. These cards are very temperamental, by the way, guys. Go ahead and ask question 2 now. It is likely. Go ahead and ask question 3 now. Absolutely not. Okay. Alright, well that was your reading for 1. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. And if not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye! Okay, hello my pile 2s, welcome to your reading. So you chose the pink cat's eye crystal, which is such a cute one. And let's put this to the side for now, because first we're going to get into what this mystery thing is that you still have a cord tied to. So we have the 9 of Swords. Okay, interesting. So lots of worry for nothing, lots of anxiety, lots of stress. This is still what you're connected to. Maybe even some sleepless nights, lots of nightmares, lots of like insomnia, lots of anxiety, stress, worry. So this is definitely something we want to cut the cord with for sure. It's natural to of course be anxious about things and stressed about things, and it's not to say that there aren't stressful things in your life, it's just that your thoughts around these things might be taking up way too much of your time, way more time than it definitely should, and it doesn't need that much attention. So it's about saving you from that, rescuing you from that kind of mindset. So we're definitely going to figure out how to do that. But first we're going to look at what this anxiety, this worry, these nightmares are kind of bringing into your life. Okay, so we have money path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it. Interesting. Maybe you don't want to cut this cord, because I could see this in 2 ways. 1, sometimes a little bit of stress is a good thing. Not too much though, but sometimes it is, in terms of it motivates you. Because if you were comfortable, you wouldn't be motivated to go after these bigger goals that you might have, because you would be like, well, why would I leave this space? I'm comfortable, you know, I don't care about, you know, this thing anymore because I'm in a comfortable space. But then there's no progress being made, there's no movement. It's almost like you've gone into hermit mode. You found it quite comfortable and cozy, this kind of retreat that you needed, and now you're not leaving. Okay, but you got to make space for somebody else in the retreat. Okay, they got to come in and do their time too, so you got to leave. Okay, so it's kind of like that, like this stress and these nightmares and these worries are almost going to build up and up and up and up and up until they reach a point where you're like, okay, I don't want to live life like this anymore. Maybe it's a job that's stressing you out and you're like, okay, I don't get paid enough for the amount of shit I do and the amount of stress that I deal with, so I'm gonna go after this job instead. And that job might have a bigger salary, less day-to-day work, less stress, you know, and it's more comfortable and you have more free time. So it could be something like that, where something is stressing you out so much, but then it's actually leading you to a breaking point that will encourage you to act towards a brighter, better future for yourself. Alternatively, it could be that you're doing this, stressing yourself out, putting a lot of burden on yourself, because doing that in your life right now might make you lots of money. So maybe you've got a job that pays really well if you kind of wear yourself down, burn out, and you're kind of stuck in this cycle of prioritizing this money over yourself. So there's 2 sort of things here. So I think we're going to look for you at changing the way this cord works rather than cutting it, because either way the stress on you is not worth any of those outcomes. So we need to focus on bringing that down. So that's what we're going to pay attention to with our next question. What can pile do to change the way this cord works and find less stress in their life and more peace? Still with the same money outcomes though, because we want that. Okay. So we have the World card in reverse. Ooh, the King of Cups upright. And the King of Wands in reverse. So a few ways to change the way that this cord works. But one thing is to, first of all, delay results and be comfortable with that. You don't need to get that report in by Monday if it's the weekend and you're now going to be spending your weekend doing that because you didn't do it during the week. Fuck that, okay? Your weekend is yours. Stand firm in the fact that that doesn't change the fact that you're not willing to compromise your time, which is your most valuable asset, in order to get a project in by Monday that, let's face it, no one else is going to give a shit about. Like, that whoever you hand it into, they don't care that you got it to them on Monday. They're not going to read it. Like, they're literally not going to look at it. So why burn yourself out for that? So first of all, get comfortable with delays. Get comfortable with not reaching your personal goals as soon as you would like. If you're trying to earn as much money as possible to get to, let's say, a goal of like having your dream house, get comfortable with postponing that a little bit longer. Yeah, it might take an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 years to get there, but at least along the way you're enjoying the journey instead of feeling like absolute crap. So get comfortable with the delays in your own personal life. Obviously, follow your own advice. Don't listen to me, because you'll know better than me about what's best for you to do. This is just a video for entertainment purposes only, but this is the advice that the cards are offering, okay? Secondly, once you're comfortable with that, what do you do with that free time? 1, you invest in your passions. 2, you invest in what you love to do. What brings you joy, what brings you comfort. I see you on holiday. Okay, I see you on holiday, enjoying life. I also see you being a lot calmer during tumultuous times. So even if everyone's running around like headless chickens around you, you're going to stay calm and be like, somebody else's urgency is not going to become my emergency. And repeat that to yourself. Somebody's urgency is not going to become my emergency. Repeat that every day if you have to keep yourself on track with the fact that you can keep your own compass. You can stay grounded, even if everyone else around you is acting chaotic and very stressy and they burn themselves out for things. You're not going to do that. You're not going to follow that cycle. You're going to be a little bit more ruthless with your boundaries. Honestly, be a little bit more eager to say no. Rather than eager to please, be more eager to say no, sorry. I don't have enough time for that. I can't put another project on my plate. I can't help you with moving this weekend or whatever it is. Be more comfortable with setting your boundaries and saying you need time for you, or setting time aside that is literally yours, non-negotiable. Maybe it's 1 day a week, or maybe it's every night from 7 to 10 or whatever. That's your time, no one interrupts. And be firm on that boundary, and that's time to do with as you please. Like, schedule time that is just yours and be comfortable with doing that and setting that boundary. And these are the things that will help you change the way that cord works so that you're not completely stressed, drowning, burning yourself out, and instead you've got a little bit of like fire under you to keep going, but also you're so much calmer, so much happier. You feel more in the mood to celebrate, more comfortable with where you are in life and not feeling pressure to kind of speed up and get there super quick, but you're still getting that flow of income that you want. Now that we've got that straight, okay, we can move on to the last part of the reading, which is just to ask any 3 yes or no questions about this reading. So have your questions ready, starting with question 1, and I will try my best to answer that for you now. These cards are super temperamental, so don't be offended with anything they say. Just ignore them if they're rude and sassy, as they always are. Okay, but here's your answer. It is guaranteed with your question 1. Okay. Go ahead and ask question 2 now. Answer unsure, ask again. Maybe you need to ask in a different way or ask a slightly different question but still relating. Not possible. And let's ask question 3 now and get your answer to that. Ooh. Okay, is it all 3 of these? Your answer is in the cards. It is certain. Affirmative. Okay, interesting. So that's a yes, and it's certain. But it's interesting it says your answer is in the cards, because I feel like that's saying really take all the messaging that you've heard today. Like, really take all this in. Okay, so that was your reading pile 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped. If it did, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you felt drawn to any other piles, please feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Hello, my pile 3s. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Snow Agate. Before we get into these cards, I want to see what this mystery thing is that's connected to you. Ooh, we have the 8 of Swords. Ooh, okay. So this is definitely a mindset, and it's kind of a almost like helpless mindset when actually you're very capable. You're very strong and you don't need help in this situation. So here we see with the lovely lady in this 8 of Swords card that she's wearing a blindfold. So she can't see the truth of this situation. She's also tied up, but what she's tied up with is super flimsy, like it's basically like tissue paper. And she already has the sword in her hand to cut that tissue paper, take off the blindfold, and see that actually she can just move these swords and step out the way. So essentially, she's chained to a lie that she is not capable, that she can't do things on her own, that she needs to depend on something else, or can't be independent, can't make up her own mind, can't make decisions for herself. She's helpless. She needs support. She could never do things on her own or without person A or this situation, whatever it is. She's been lied to about her situation. She's maybe been told, you're not good enough for something, and then she's believed it. Or she's maybe been told, you don't have what it takes, you don't have the skills, and she's taken that in and believed it. Denying the true essence of her power, denying the truth of the fact that she is actually really suited to this thing, really deserving, could be very skilled at it. She just has to remove that kind of belief, that self-limiting belief or mindset that's holding her back. That's you. So this is what you're tied to still. This is the thing that's kind of wreaking havoc in your life because it's making you think you can't go after what you want. We definitely want to make sure we cut that cord then. So that's going to be the angle of this reading. But let's see what it's kind of doing in your life. So you actually got a lot of cards. So you have desk, pay attention to your work. You got man, dealings or relationship with a man. Why did that feel so negative? Okay. Will, indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. And we have cup. You should accept valid criticism. Ooh, okay. I'm seeing so many things. So first of all, I got a negative energy with that man card. So I feel like there might be someone in your life telling you these things, telling you you're not good enough or that you need them or whatever. Could be a family member, could be a friend, could be a partner. It might not even be someone you know. It could just be that maybe there's a big figure, maybe a political figure who is literally like standing in your way and kind of doing negative things, like allowing certain negative laws to pass or getting rid of progressive laws to kind of set you back. So it could even be things like that. I think we all know who I'm talking about. It could even be that. It could even just be the energy of kind of like maybe watching people on social media, seeing them thrive and then feeling like you could never do it or you could never get there because you don't look like or sound like these people or act like them or have the same sort of lifestyle as them. So it could even just be that kind of thing rather than an actual person in your life. But either way, there's definitely someone who's had a negative opinion or influence over you that has impacted the way you think about yourself. And so by not cutting this cord, their voice is stuck in your head. They're stuck with you. You know, they're a bigger part of your life than they should be. A part of your life that you're still connected to. Or because of this connection in your mind, you're still connected to this person when you shouldn't be. Second thing is that because you have been so negatively spoken down to, when you do actually get valid criticism or valid opinions from people who aren't actually trying to offend you in any kind of way, they're actually trying to help you grow, you're now hyper aware of criticism, and so because of that, when people criticize you, it feels like such a harsher blow than it needs to be. And if you actually pulled yourself out of the situation for a second and looked at it omnisciently, you would be like, oh wait, actually they have a point and I can see they're trying to help. But instead you get really consumed in your emotions and you feel really intense about it and you feel like a terrible person because they pointed out these flaws in you or these things you could work on. And it's not that deep. Like, you don't have to feel all those feelings. It's easier said than done, but you don't have to take it all in like that and take it so personally. It's just a small thing that you don't need to feel guilty or bad about. Like, it's just something to be aware of that maybe you want to change so that you can progress. So it could even be pointing out this fact that you are being held back by just an idea, just a belief that is so flimsy and easy to overcome, but it's ruling your life, and maybe someone points it out to you and you feel like that's very rude because it feels bigger to you. It feels like a big thing because you're not seeing what we're seeing. For you, it's coming from the inside out, so you can't see it, and so it feels almost invalidating or rude or hurtful when people point out, actually this is a simple thing for you to overcome. So it could even be things like that. So this cord, because it hasn't been cut, it's preventing you from growing and escaping it almost. It almost works in a way to keep you there with this kind of deep emotional response to people pointing it out or criticizing this situation. The other things it's doing in your life is it's kind of making you knuckle down and not look at the world around you and not enjoy or engage with it. You're kind of just in zombie mode where you think you have to just keep grinding and continuing on with the monotony of life because you don't really deserve better, or you can't see opportunities and things around you because you've been blindsided by this situation. And the last thing is it doesn't allow you space to think for yourself. Because you're codependent on this thing, you feel attached to someone maybe, and you maybe feel like you can't do life without them, or without a certain situation, or without their opinion or their influence, or without someone else's input. You now can't trust your own inner judgment, your own inner voice, and so you really struggle to follow your inner guide, and that means there's no direction in your life. You're kind of either stuck, not moving, stagnant, or you're moving in all the wrong directions. It's like your wheel of fortune is just out of control. It's not even good luck, bad luck anymore. It's just completely fallen off the wagon and it's doing its own thing, and not in a good way. There's no grounded middle where you're able to sort of see and navigate things. It's just all over the place. So that's another thing, not trusting your own inner compass because of this thing. So we definitely want to cut this cord. So how should pile 3 do that? Oh, this came out. Okay, the King of Cups has come out for everybody. We have the Hermit in reverse. Yes. Oh, that is so good for you. Okay. Ooh, Ace of Wands. Ooh, yes, this is perfect for you. So firstly, the way to kind of cut this cord, because we want to cut it, we want to sever it now. We've got a few different things going on. So firstly, you have to find your way out of this darkness. There's no two ways about it. You have to separate yourself from this lie. So that starts with finding it. Where's this lie? Who told it to you? Why did this happen? Find out what this lie is that makes you feel like you can't lead your own life, that you can't trust your own inner judgment, and start proving to yourself why it's wrong. And the way you do that is you start listening to that inner judgment and just seeing where it takes you. So for example, it could be something as simple as like you maybe don't know what to have for breakfast, and maybe you would normally go ask somebody, hey, what are you having? Are you having jam on toast or cereal? Rather than do that, just pick one, eat it, see how you like it. Start off small, start trusting that inner judgment, and start seeing that when you do take your own advice, things work out fine. There's no problems, there's no fires, okay? There's no issues. So with the Hermit, that little light there is going to be your own inner voice, that little candle. It's going to be your own opinions, your own judgment, and you're going to follow that out of the darkness. That's exactly what's going to help you here. It's time to leave hermit mode. Follow your light, which is your own judgment, opinions, perception. Secondly, stay calm during storms, okay? If things feel chaotic, or if other people are making a big deal and catastrophizing around you, stay calm, stay grounded. Be the grounded point in the middle of your wheel. Trust that your judgment is the best, and so whatever you've said, whatever boundary you've put in place for you, it might start to piss off all these people, or maybe one person in particular who doesn't like it when you have boundaries, because it doesn't benefit them, it benefits you only, and they despise that, and so they might be acting very chaotic around you. You need to stay grounded to your boundary and stay calm during this storm. You need to stay firm in your decisions and trust your instincts, trust your gut, and do things leading with love, especially for yourself. A lot of kindness for yourself, a lot of love for yourself, a lot of prioritization of yourself as well. If someone points out a way that maybe you could improve things or do something different, don't get triggered by it. Take it on board, think about it, think if you want to take their advice or not. You know, one time I was complaining a lot that like I hadn't started a YouTube channel and I had wanted to for so long, and one of my friends was like, just do it. And I was like, I'm rude, I can't just do it. And then I was like, wait, I can actually. And it was just them saying that kind of made me realize I could, and then I went home and did. So it's sometimes you want to get offended because it's like, how dare you, there's so many more steps to it than that. It's not as easy as that, but actually it literally is as easy as that. And when other people put it into perspective, it can actually really help you. So stay really calm and like level-headed when people offer you advice in your situation. The second thing is start feeling inspired and enjoy life and take action. Now, it's time to take action. So the spark, the inspiration you want to feel is that desire to change and get out of this situation. Is that desire to change your mindset, the way you think about yourself, the way you view the world, the way you view others, the way you view yourself. You need to change all of those mindsets by starting to take action in the right direction. That means blocking out whoever this is, or whoever's voice or this is, or whatever obstacles are in your way, seeing them as insignificant now and seeing yourself as the priority and trying to come out of that. So taking action would be using this sword to cut this tie, cord, connection, move all these swords out the way and walk off. Taking action is following that light. It's making decisions for yourself, testing them out, see how they go, proving to yourself that you are trustworthy, that your judgment is the best one, setting boundaries and sticking to them. These are all actions. These are all things you can do. On top of that, feel inspired again. Feel inspired to go after your passions and dreams. So there's a lot of grind, a lot of work, a lot of monotony, a lot of thoughts. So a few things. One, you could set time aside for yourself, maybe an hour a day, maybe 2, doing something that you actually want to do. Could be a walk in the park, painting, drawing, could be watching a TV show. Whatever the simple thing is that feels good for you, do it. Secondly, journal. Get all these thoughts out of your head, okay? And then read them back when you're in a clear headspace and see how you feel about it. Because doing that might put into perspective what these things are that are holding you back, and it could highlight areas where you could change your mindset or things need to be reevaluated in order to prioritize yourself with kindness. So these are all the things you could be doing to cut this cord once and for all and get rid of it. So now we're on to the last part of your reading, where you can ask any 3 yes or no questions about this reading, about this situation. So be ready with question 1 now, and I'll try and answer it for you. And also, these cards are hella rude and moody and temperamental, so please don't be offended by anything they say. Okay? But let's try and get you your answer to question 1 now. Weather permitting. That basically means if you put all the effort in, if you do it, if your ducks are in a row, if the timing's right, then yes. But if not, then maybe another time. It's not a definite no. Okay, go ahead and ask question 2 now. Your answer is in the cards. I think that basically means heed the advice of this reading, but I will pull you another card. Probably not. Okay, and now for question 3. You have wait, let me think. I also felt this top one. By all means. That means by all means necessary. Get this thing done. Do it. Or yes. Okay, so that was your reading pile 3. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, I hope to see you here next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye. Okay, hello my powerfuls. Welcome to reading. So you chose the snakeskin agate. Let's get into your reading, starting off with what this mystery thing is that you are tied to. Ooh, 9 of coins. Okay. I think this is a destiny to make things for yourself. I think the thing you're tied to is your own destiny to create a legacy for yourself, for your future, maybe for your future family members. It doesn't have to be your direct lineage. It could be your nieces, your nephews, your little cousins. It could be your own little siblings, or it could be maybe when you're older you donate everything you've earned to a specific charity. So it's not just for yourself but also for others. It's this destiny to kind of build everything you have in life yourself, which is tough, but it's also very rewarding. As you can see, she's kind of this lady in the 9 of coins is taking in everything she's grown, and she's really proud of it because she did that, you know. And in the future you can see the house, which is that looming prospect of stability, security. So this is a cord that you're tied to. That's kind of like a part of your destiny to manifest these things, to get these things rolling, to be your own sort of breadwinner in life. So really nice cord actually. Probably not one you'd want to cut unless you're wanting someone else to do it all for you instead, which by all means go ahead and cut that cord. But yeah, let's see what this uncut cord is bringing into your life. So we actually had a month for you. So we have November. That could mean by November of this year or next year or whenever, whatever November, it could mean that you start to see progress in this legacy that you're creating. Yes, you also have tree. Affairs with your family. Oh my god. Literally, because like trees are like, I always think of trees as like family trees, also connection to life source. It's also, not only is it life source, but it's also where I think all life begins and ends. So this is really nice. It literally is talking about the beginning and ending of your life, the destiny you're supposed to create within it, and the fact that you're going to leave behind such a lovely, wonderful legacy for your family. This also doesn't have to be money related. It can be a beautiful legacy in terms of you've taught them really well to go and be kind in this world, to spread love, spread kindness, spread joy, and that's your legacy. Like, it could be something as sweet and simple as that, like just teaching all the younger kids in your family to be really respectful of animals and nature, you know, not chase and kick the pigeons on the street, but actually feed them and be gentle with them. It could be something as simple as that. I would say we don't want to cut this cord, so that's going to be the angle of my question. We're going to ask, how do we keep it? Because we don't want to lose this cord. Ooh, 3 of Cups. Oh, guys, your reading is so cute. Okay. Oh, 9 of Swords in reverse. Love that. Okay. Oh, Queen of Cups. So a few things. Firstly, building your own legacy is a tough task. It's a tough ask, and sometimes it can feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Like, you've got all this responsibility to kind of build something for your family in a way that can feel quite heavy, quite stressful. So it's really important, if you want to keep this cord, to not get overwhelmed with this task, this heavy task that your destiny has kind of given you. You know, if you're starting to have sleepless nights, nightmares, if you're getting restless, if you're getting anxious and stressed all the time, it's time to take a break, okay? You deserve that. You deserve to have peace and calmness, tranquility. You don't deserve to get burnt out. You know, you're creating something lovely and beautiful, not only for yourself, but also for your family. So take it slow, take it easy. You know, don't feel like you have to rush to get there to make sure they have everything they need. How about you just take it easy? You know, they'll be grateful for any ways that you can help them in life. As I said, with maybe leaving a legacy of a certain type of behaviour and a way of treating the world around them and a certain type of outlook on life. So definitely take breaks and make sure you don't burn out, and that involves celebrating really small wins when they come your way, or just celebrating for the sake of it, going out, having fun, partying just because. You know, other people might be like, oh, we're celebrating this or this, but you're just like, it's a Tuesday, innit? Like, do that. Spend time immersing yourself around family and friends, because that's where your heart lies, that's where your opportunities in life lie as well. So enjoy yourself and have fun. Enjoy this journey. I can see life being a really long, slow, sweet journey for you because of this cord. So there's no point trying to like rush and burn out and get, you know, all overthinky about stuff. Just take it slow, take it easy, and that's how you're going to enjoy it. Take it season by season. With the November, what's popping into my head is like, there are parts of the year that you're very active, and then parts of the year where we should be hibernating, man. We should be sleeping. You know, let's follow the squirrels, okay? They all be sleeping during the winter. Let's hibernate, okay? Let's take it easy, eat more, sleep more, you know, stress less. So there are periods where maybe you need to be more active towards your goals, and then periods of time where you can take it easy, be mellow, you know? Make sure there's a nice balance there. Because the world has a balance to everything. The world takes it easy. The world has seasons. It follows its routine, you know, of sunny summers and cold winters. So you follow suit. Be one with nature by copying what it does. Live your life inspired by nature. I'm especially getting that because she's like here growing plants. We've got the tree. We've got another tree root here in the November. Lots of natural connection to the world. I think you've got a really nice connection with the world. I think if you ever ask the universe for anything, or if you ever kind of are somebody who kind of puts their hand on a tree and tries to get the vibes and maybe ask for something, they're listening. Okay, they're listening and they're hearing you. So that could also be something for you as well. Maybe something that can de-stress you is also just being out in nature. The other thing is to lead with love. Just lead with love and kindness to keep this cord. Make sure your cup is always full. And that for you could be family and friends, because here we're seeing all these full cups, another full cup over here. Just enjoy life. Enjoy it, take it easy, and lead with love and lead with passion. Make sure the thing you're creating, behind it is a passion. Behind it, the basics of it, the foundation, is something you love and you feel strongly about. And also make sure you take care of yourself as much as you are kind of building a legacy for others. That legacy is supposed to kind of be enjoyed by them later, but for you right now. So everything you're building, yes, for the future, it will be for your family, but for right now, it's also for you. So make sure you enjoy it and you do prioritize yourself in this situation as well. There's a balance to it. You know, you can't just do everything for your family. There's a give and a take. So make sure you are still filling up your own cup as much as you are everybody else's as well. That is how you keep your cord. So let's now move on to the last part of your reading, pile 4, where you can ask any 3 yes or no questions pertaining to this reading. Please bear in mind that these cards are very temperamental. They can be moody and rude, so don't take anything personally. Go ahead and ask your first question now, and I will try to answer it for you now. So we have weather permitting. I love that because, so basically weather permitting means so long as you have all your ducks in a row, you put the effort in, you know, the stars are aligned, then yes. But if not, then maybe another time. But I love that because again, we're getting this natural connection of like weather permitting. The weather can determine whether or not your crops grow. You know, the weather determines how quickly you get there, how successful you are. So go with the flow of nature. Things might come in the way of the progress you make, and some things might elevate the progress. And it's just the natural ebbs and flows of life. So move with it fluidly, like water. So go ahead and ask question 2 now. We have it is guaranteed. Okay, and go ahead and ask your 3rd question now. Sure. Oh my god, that's the most positive they've ever been, these cards. Okay, so that was your reading, pile 4. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you were drawn to any other piles, feel free to check those out now. If not, hope to see you here next week on Tuesday and Thursday for another reading on TìandTarot. Bye!